Love. Such a beautiful word, isn't it? 4 little letters that make the whole world spin. People write songs about it, they build empires for it, they cry rivers over it. And yet you, yes you, sit there with your heart in your hands, begging for someone to notice, to care, to love you. Pathetic. Let me ask you something. When did you forget your own worth? When did you decide that their validation is what makes you whole? You chase after their affection like a dog after a bone, hoping, praying that maybe this time they'll stay. But love doesn't work like that. You can't beg for it, barter for it, or bleed for it. You think lowering yourself, sacrificing who you are, will make them love you? No, it only makes you invisible. The world doesn't love the desperate, it preys on them, and you, with your wide eyes and open heart, you're nothing but an easy target. They'll take what they need, leave you hollow, and walk away without a second thought. Why? Because you handed them the power. You begged for their love, and in doing so you gave them permission to break you. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. You don't need anyone to love you to be whole. Why? You are the one who decides your worth. You are the one who holds the power. Stop begging for love. Stand tall. Be unshakable. Because the moment you stop chasing, the world starts following. And that, my dear, is where real power begins. Let's talk about the chains you've wrapped around yourself. The invisible ones you pretend aren't there. You know the ones I'm talking about. The constant need to be wanted, to be liked, to be loved. It clings to you like a second skin, doesn't it? You scroll through your phone, waiting for a message, a call, some sign that someone out there thinks you're worth their time, and when it doesn't come, oh, it eats you alive. You lie awake at night, replaying conversations, wondering, did I say the wrong thing? Was I too much? Not enough? You convince yourself that if you were just a little prettier, smarter, or funnier, maybe they would have stayed. Maybe they would have chosen you. But they didn't. And it hurts, doesn't it? That ache in your chest, the one that whispers, you're not good enough. But here's the ugly truth. It's not them. It's you. You're the one who handed them the knife and begged them to cut you open. You let their approval, or lack of it, define your worth. And every time you did that, you gave away another piece of yourself. Look at what it's done to you. You've turned yourself into a mirror, reflecting back whatever you think they want to see. You laugh when you don't find it funny. You agree when your gut screams, no. You mold yourself into their perfect version of you, hoping it'll make them stay. But they don't. They never do. And you're left staring at the shards of who you used to be, wondering where it all went wrong. Let me tell you something. It went wrong the moment you forgot that love isn't something you beg for. It's not a prize you earn by bending over backward and losing yourself in the process. Real love, true love, doesn't demand that you shrink, that you change, that you break. But you don't believe that, do you? No. You're stuck in this endless loop of trying, failing, and trying again. You let your worth hinge on their fleeting attention. And when they don't give it, you sink deeper into that pit of self-doubt, convincing yourself that the problem is you, that you're broken, unlovable, not enough. But let me ask you this. What have you gained from all this begging, all this compromising? Have you found happiness? Peace? Or are you still clutching at scraps, hoping they'll fill the void inside you? Spoiler alert, they won't. They never will. Because here's the thing, they don't see you. They see what you let them see. A person desperate for love, willing to do anything to get it. And desperation, it's repelling. People don't cherish what's handed to them so easily. They take it, use it, and toss it aside when they're done. That's the problem, my dear. You've been giving away the most precious parts of yourself to people who don't deserve them. You've been begging for something that should never be begged for. And in doing so, you've forgotten who you are. So look in the mirror and take a good, hard look at yourself. Ask yourself why you've allowed this cycle to continue. Why you've let others dictate your worth. Because until you face that truth, you'll stay trapped in this endless game of chasing love and losing yourself in the process. It's time to wake up. Time to see the chains for what they are. And once you do, oh my friend, that's when the real fun begins. Enough with the excuses. Enough with the pity parties. It's time to face the truth, and I mean the ugly, cold, hard truth you've been running from. You think you're the victim in this story, don't you? The misunderstood hero, waiting for someone to see your worth and save you. But let me ask you something. How's that working out for you? Oh, you think crying about the pain will change things? You think posting your heartbreak on social media will make someone care? Let me tell you something about this world. It doesn't care. Not about your tears, your pain, or your sad little stories. The world isn't some fairy tale where the broken get rescued. No, the world steps over the broken. It mocks them. And if you're sitting there, waiting for someone to pick you up, you'll be waiting forever. You let people walk all over you, treat you like you're disposable, and then you wonder why you feel so empty. You let your fear of being alone chain you to people who don't deserve you. You trade your dignity for scraps of attention and call it love. Love? That's not love. That's desperation. That's weakness. And weakness is what they smell on you. You're angry now, aren't you? Good, you should be. But don't get mad at me. Get mad at yourself. You're the one who let it happen. You're the one who begged for their love, their approval. You're the one who turned yourself into a puppet, letting them pull your strings while you dance to their tune. But here's the thing about puppets. They're lifeless, soulless. They only move when someone else pulls the strings. Is that what you want to be? Someone else's plaything? A shell of a person who only exists to please others? Because that's where you're headed. And don't you dare tell me you can't change. That's the biggest lie you've ever told yourself. You're not helpless. You're not powerless. You've just convinced yourself that you are because it's easier than facing the truth. The truth that you've been a coward. Yes, a coward. Too afraid to stand up for yourself. Too afraid to walk away from people who don't respect you. Too afraid to look in the mirror and admit that you've been the problem all along. But fear is nothing but a shadow. It looks big, it feels heavy, but it's hollow. And you've been letting that shadow rule your life. Letting it whisper lies in your ear, telling you that you're not enough, that you'll never be enough, and enough. It's time to stop hiding behind your excuses and face the facts. You've been begging for love when you should have been demanding respect. You've been giving away pieces of yourself to people who haven't earned them. And now you're left empty, wondering why you feel so hollow. So here's my challenge to you. Stop. Stop begging. Stop chasing. Stop trying to prove your worth to people who don't deserve to see it. Take a step back and ask yourself, who am I without their approval? Who am I when I'm not chasing love? It's a terrifying question, isn't it? but it's one you need to answer. Because until you do, you'll keep running in circles, chasing shadows and calling it love. So I dare you, no, I challenge you, to stop being the victim, to stop playing the puppet, to cut the strings and stand on your own 2 feet. It's time to take back your power, to reclaim your life. And when you do, when you finally see yourself for who you truly are, oh, that's when the world will start to notice. Not because you begged for it, but because you demanded it. So here you are. The truth has been laid bare, and now you're wondering what next. How do I fix this? How do I escape this endless cycle of begging for love and feeling empty? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Because here's the thing. The solution isn't out there. It's not in their approval, their affection, or their attention. It's inside you. It's always been inside you. You've spent so much time trying to fill that void with love from others. But what you don't realize is that the void isn't meant to be filled by them. It's meant to be filled by you. Yes, you. You need to stop looking outward for the answers and start looking inward. Because the only person who can truly love you, truly accept you, truly complete you, is staring at you in the mirror. Now, let's talk about control. That's the real key here. Control isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself, your emotions, your fears, your insecurities. They've been running the show for far too long. It's time to take the reins. When you feel that ache, that longing for someone to love you, don't run from it. Sit with it, face it, understand it. That ache isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's there to show you where you've been giving your power away. Here's the first step. Stop chasing. Stop reaching out to people who don't reach back. Stop bending over backward to make others happy while breaking yourself in the process. It's that ecosystem. Let them go. Yes, let them go. The ones who truly care about you won't need to be chased. They'll stand with you because they want to, not because you beg them to. The second step? Rebuild. Piece by piece. Put yourself back together. Start with the basics. What do you love about yourself? What makes you unique? What brings you joy? You've been so focused on earning love from others that you've forgotten how to love yourself. It's time to remember. And then comes the hard part. Boundaries. Oh yes, boundaries. That word that makes people squirm. But boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. Doors that you control. Doors that you open for the right people and close for the wrong ones. When you set boundaries, you're not pushing people away, you're protecting your peace. And anyone who doesn't respect those boundaries, they don't deserve a place in your life. Now, let's talk about transformation, because this isn't just about healing, it's about becoming. Becoming someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives. Picture this. You walk into a room and heads turn. Not because of how you look, but because of the energy you carry. Confidence, strength, power. That's what happens when you stop begging for love and start owning who you are. However, when you take control of your emotions, they stop controlling you. Anger becomes fuel. Sadness becomes clarity. Fear becomes focus. You're no longer at the mercy of your feelings, you're the master of them. And that, my friend, is what makes you unstoppable. So here's your solution. Stop looking for love outside yourself. Be the love you've been searching for. Respect yourself, and others will follow. Value yourself, and the world will start to take notice. Stand tall, speak your truth, and never ever settle for less than you deserve. And remember this, the world doesn't bow to those who beg. It bows to those who command. So command respect. Command love. Command your life. Because when you do, the right people will find you, and the rest. Let them watch as you rise. Now, close your eyes and imagine this. You're no longer the one sitting in the shadows, waiting for scraps of affection. You're no longer chasing people who barely notice your existence. No, not anymore. You've stepped into the light, and suddenly the world looks different. Brighter, clearer. The game has changed, and this time you hold the cards. Picture yourself walking into a room, not with your head hung low, hoping someone will notice you, but with your chin high, exuding an unshakable presence. People don't ignore you now, they feel you. Your energy, your confidence, your power, it's magnetic. And it's not because you begged for their attention. It's because you finally realized you never needed it in the first place. This is what happens when you take back control, when you stop asking for permission to exist, to be loved, to matter. Because here's the truth they don't tell you: nobody is going to hand you power. Nobody is going to give you respect. You have to take it. You have to own it. And the moment you do, the world starts to respond. Think about all that pain you've carried, the heartbreak, the rejection, the loneliness. You've been treating it like a curse, like a weight dragging you down. But what if I told you it's not a curse? What if I told you it's a gift? Pain is the universe's greatest teacher. It shows you what you're made of. It carves you, shapes you, forges you into something stronger. So stop running from it. Stop drowning in it. Take that pain and turn it into fuel. Let it drive you, push you, sharpen you. Because every tear you've cried, every sleepless night you've endured, every ounce of rejection you felt, it's all been preparing you for this moment, this transformation. And here's the best part: when you embrace your pain, it loses its power over you. It doesn't control you anymore. You control it. And when you control your pain, you control your life. Now imagine this: every time someone doubts you, underestimates you, or rejects you, you don't crumble. You don't falter. You smile, because you know something they don't. You know that their doubt isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their limitations. When you stop begging for love, something magical happens. You stop attracting people who take advantage of you, who use you, who drain you. Instead, you attract people who respect you, who see your worth, who value you for who you truly are. Because people are drawn to strength, to confidence, to power. And let's not forget the best part of all: freedom. Oh yes, freedom. The freedom of not needing anyone's approval. The freedom to walk away from anything or anyone that doesn't serve you. The freedom to be unapologetically, authentically you. So, here's what I want you to do. Stand up, look in the mirror, and see yourself for what you truly are: not a victim, not a beggar, but a warrior. A force to be reckoned with. Someone who doesn't just survive but thrives. The world is full of people who will try to break you, who will try to make you feel small. But you're different now. You've risen from the ashes of who you used to be, and you're stronger than ever. Remember this: the strongest people aren't the ones who've never been hurt. They're the ones who've been broken and put themselves back together, piece by piece. And that's you. That's who you are now. So go ahead, step into your power. Let the world see you for who you truly are, and never, ever beg for love again. Let them come to you. Let them earn you. And when they do, let them see just how far you've risen. So now, here we are, the moment of truth. This is where everything changes, or it doesn't. The choice is yours. Always has been. But let me make one thing crystal clear: no one is coming to save you. There's no knight in shining armor, no magical moment of redemption. You're the hero of this story, or the villain. Maybe both. Let me ask you something. How much longer are you going to live like this? How much more time will you waste begging for love, for validation, for someone to see you? The clock is ticking, my friend, and every second you spend waiting is a second you'll never get back. So, what's it going to be? Will you stay on your knees hoping for scraps? Or will you rise, not as someone seeking approval, but as someone who commands it without saying a word? Here's the secret they don't want you to know. The world respects strength, not silence. It bows to those who refuse to bow first. It listens to those who don't beg for a voice. And love? Love isn't something you beg for. It's something you embody. Stand tall. Not for them, for you. Let them see the fire in your eyes. The kind that says, I don't need you, I choose me. Because that's where real power lies, not in needing, but in choosing. When you stop needing their love, their approval, their attention, you become untouchable, unstoppable, unforgettable. But don't just take my word for it. Prove it. Prove it to yourself. Next time someone treats you like an option, show them the door. Next time someone doubts your worth, don't argue, let your actions speak louder. And when the world tries to put you back in the box it built for you, shatter it. Leave nothing but splinters and smoke behind. You see, this isn't just about walking away from people who don't deserve you. It's about walking toward the person you were always meant to be. The one who doesn't settle. The one who doesn't compromise their value for temporary comfort. The one who knows their worth and doesn't apologize for it. Now, I want you to picture this, you, standing at the center of your life, holding the reins. No longer a puppet, no longer begging for a place at someone else's table. You've built your own table. And guess what? It's bigger, stronger, and better than anything they could have offered you. Feel that. That's power. That's freedom. That's you finally understanding that you were never the problem. You were the answer all along. But this isn't the end of the story. No, this is just the beginning. The beginning of a new chapter, one where you call the shots. One where you stop living for others and start living for yourself. And here's your final call to action. Rise. Rise above the lies they've told you, the limitations they've placed on you, and the fear that's been holding you back. Rise, not for revenge, not for validation, but for you, for the life you deserve, for the power that's been inside you all along, waiting to be unleashed. Because in the end, it's not about them. It's about you. Always has been, always will be. So go ahead, take that first step. Burn the bridges that lead you back to the old you and light the path to the person you're becoming. And remember this, the world may not love you for it, but it will respect you. And respect, my friend, is far more valuable than love ever will be. So rise, take control, and let them watch as you become unstoppable.